problem with modern medicine is that, yes, they make you live longer, they extend your life, but a lot of that life is spent in the hospital. 75% of what you do and your environment affects how long you're going to live. You know, let's say you're 60 years old. You can start today, and in 2 years from now, you're going to have the best body you've ever had in your entire life. All it needs is some discipline.
What's one supplement you think non-negotiable you got to take?
Protein powder. One simple habit that improves energy instantly.
Sleep. One food you would remove forever from your diet.
That's a hard one. I love food so much.
The pharmaceutical and the vitamin supplement market is a big hoax.
Welcome to the Longevity Podcast with your hosts Anthony from B40 Body Labs, along with Faisal from Q for Better You. We're here to call out the lies and give you the real blueprint to stay strong, lean, and dangerous well into your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. We're talking real training, real nutrition, peptides, biohacking, and recovery. No fluff, just what actually works. If you want to look better, perform better, and outlive everyone playing small, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
So the last 20 years, we've seen a lot of advancement in medical science, which has helped prolong our life, enabling us to live longer. But is it really about adding years to your life? Or is it about adding life
to your years?
Yeah, that's right. So I've got my friend from Canada, Thailand, now to Pakistan, basically. Anthony, a specialist in longevity, and he's a proven example of it, you know?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about longevity today.
Yeah.
And what it's all about.
Yeah, what is it all about? That's the big question, right? What do a lot of people think longevity is? Is it to live longer? Is it really to live longer? Or is it to live longer better?
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So how do we accomplish that? And what protocols do we use? I just like to think that there's maybe there's more pillars, but four basic pillars of all of this. I think other things sort of fall within these pillars at the same time. So number one, my non-negotiable in all of this, because I'm a strength and conditioning coach, is strength training, right? For both men and women. I think that adding muscle as you get older is the number one priority for men and women. And the reason why is over 35, you lose between 0.5% and 1% of your muscle mass per year. That's a lot. So you let's say you go 20 years, at 1% per year, that's 20% of your muscle mass gone. So, I mean, you have to earn your muscle at the same time, right? With strength training. So why bother losing that? As you get older, most people that are in the hospital are what? People that fall down, basically. Yeah. I mean, I think like 70% of elderly that fall down end up with, broken hips, et cetera. They end up dying in the hospital, right? So that's not a good way to end. So how do you counteract that? With some strength training, all right? Strength training, we're talking about maybe 3 or 4 times per week, going to the gym, using progressive resistance. It's not something complicated. You can do it in your home gym. You can do it in a hotel gym. You can do it calisthenics on the floor. It doesn't matter. It's just something that should be non-negotiable in your life as far as strength training goes. And as you get older, I mean, it doesn't matter when you start also. I mean, you can be 50 or 60 years old. You can start strength training and you can actually see your muscles grow and your strength grow at the same time. Yeah. So it's not rocket science. It's just you have to be progressive, and every year you're adding maybe 1 or 2 pounds of lean body mass, and it does great things for your body. Insulin resistance disappears. So there goes diabetes, right? Things like sarcopenia, where you're losing your muscle mass, disappears, all because you're paying attention to your health at the same time.
I want to add to that, Anthony, because I think the old generation never understood the concept of longevity.
Right.
And I mean, I know from my own family members, they just believe that, popping a pill from the doctor is going to help, prolong their life. But, the suffering, like I've seen my own family members of just living longer, but not pain-free necessarily.
Yeah.
So had they understood, like you mentioned, the importance of having muscle, getting up, sitting down, carrying things, even at the age of 70, 80, would definitely have made their life much more comfortable at that age, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that,
I think that the problem with modern medicine is that, yes, they make you live longer, they extend your life, but a lot of that life is spent in the hospital, is spent infirm, not being mobile, being diabetic, having heart issues, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, really, do you want to live like that for that long?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a miserable lifestyle to have when it's totally preventable.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about, you know, for instance, only 25% of longevity is genetic, right? Only 25%. That means that 75% of what you do and your environment affects how long you're going to live. And it affects your health span, not necessarily your lifespan, how healthy you're going to live for how long you're going to live, right? So you combine that with my 4 pillars, and all the other things fall within those pillars. Number 1 is, of course, we've discussed it already, strength training, right? It cures a lot of things, all right? That's the number 1 cure-all of all. Number 2 is going to be nutrition, right? And nutrition is, I'd say maybe 10 to 20% of that, but there's certain things you have to follow.
Yeah.
Number 3 is going to be sleep, okay,
Yeah.
which is also very important, which is something you and I
Both of us suffer from it.
both are susceptible to. And the last one, of course, is going to be stress and stress management.
Yeah,
All right, and building community around yourself and having a purpose in life,
Yeah,
et cetera.
absolutely.
All right. So to get back to number 2 is going to be nutrition. That's a part that most people sort of skip.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody just eats what the family's eating. Nobody thinks about how much protein they're eating. I think this is another non-negotiable. If you want to keep that muscle mass, the main driver, the main fuel for building muscle is protein. And I'm looking at it from a North American perspective here. So 1 gram per pound of body weight is minimal. So for instance, here in Pakistan, it'll be kilograms. So 2.2, I think, is the equivalent, 2.2 per kilo of body weight.
Yeah.
Now, I just give that as my guideline because actually it's lean body mass that we're looking at. So
Right,
somebody's 200 pounds like myself, lean body mass is probably 175 or 170. So I just look at that as a goal, right? Now, the other things are, you know, fats are great for hormones, you know, for hormone balance, testosterone, estrogen balance are great for that. You want to have some of that in your diet, good omega-3s, et cetera. And carbohydrates, good, clean carbs are great for energy levels too. So, I mean, they all go together, but the number 1 thing in all of this is going to be protein. If you miss your protein levels, sarcopenia is going to slowly kick in. Let's say you're working out hard, you're pushing those weights like you're supposed to. If you're not fueling your workouts at the same time, you're going to lose muscle anyway. So why not combine them all with those 4 different pillars, right?
It's interesting when you say about diet, because I think even till today, many people have a very unstructured diet plan, but they believe in modern medicine, so they just pop a pill. You know, I've got high cholesterol, but you know, fix your diet first before you start popping pills.
Yeah.
So I think that mindset really is shifting, but it needs to shift more.
It is shifting, but it's shifting slowly, you know. And you look at a lot of things like, you know, some people are into their peptide protocols, for instance. You know, they look at peptides as the cure-all for things at the same time. You know, energy level, mitochondrial energy, things like that. So they start giving themselves injections. That's not the way to work. I mean, the way to work is you have to fix yourself with nutrition and the basics first, and those other protocols sort of come together. But, you know, at the same time, yes, modern medicine, you know, people look at it and they go, okay, this is going to fix me. I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But the problem is the time you get, by the time that you get there, it's already probably too late. Your cholesterol is too high. You already have plaque in your arteries. You know, by the time you're 60, you're suffering from cardiac problems. You're on statins. You're on all kinds of different pills, you know. So why not start at, you know, let's say 40 or 50 and prevent those things by doing your blood tests, seeing where your levels are, start taking your omega-3s if you see something that's out of whack a little bit, because you can't really fix what you can't measure, right? So if you do a blood test, you know, with all the different markers that we need for longevity, there's a number of them. You know, if you look down in my description below of this podcast, you're going to see the description of what I think you need for longevity as far as biomarkers go. It's something everybody can do. And each one of those markers will give you something that you can take action on. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's, you know, ferritin in your blood. It doesn't matter whether it's cortisol in your blood, et cetera. It's all measurable at this point. So cortisol is, for instance, going back to one of the 4 pillars, is stress, right? So if you're able to measure your stress and you're able to deal with your stress, why not deal with it, right? And there's a bunch of protocols you can do, right? For sleep, for instance. I mean, I'm jumping to number 4 only because we're talking about this, you know, different things, blood markers, for instance. So you're looking at sleep. Well, what can we do for sleep, right? You can come up with a good night routine for your sleep, like put on your blue blockers, buy some blue blocker glasses, put away social media for a couple of hours before, don't eat for 2 hours before, don't drink for 2 hours before, so you don't get up 4 or 5 times in the night, you know, as men in their 60s know all about with their prostates, right? So those are things that we can deal with, right? And then just wind down, have a nice wind down at night. I mean, I have big sleep problems. I mean, I know that. This is something that I'm working on personally. You know, you have the same issue, right? So it's what do you do and how do you be proactive in doing it, right? How do you do that?
What I found personally, I mean, I'm not practicing it right now, but what I found was breath work and a bit of meditation kind of, you know, slows your heart rate down. So it does enable you or does allow you to be in a better place so that you can actually get some sleep. And definitely, as you mentioned, stress, you know, high stress levels means overthinking. You need to be in a place where you can start, you know, avoid that overthinking process so you can actually, you know, black out and begin to get some kind of rest, some kind of sleep, right?
That's what I'm trying to do at this point, is I'm trying to get back to the routine. When I was in Thailand, I was in a good routine. I was sleeping at least 6 or 7 hours a night, which is great for me. But since I came to Pakistan, it's been hard for me to get back into the sync of things, you know, because we're up early. We work out at 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, so you're up at 6. You know, I'm used to sleeping until 9, right? So we're up at 6. Actually, when we were in Thailand, we were working out at 7 in the morning. So I sort of got into that routine there. But, you know, at the same time, it sort of disrupts your sleep, especially if you're used to, let's say, getting up at 9, right? Being a little lazy in the morning. So this forces me into, you know, going to bed at 9 o'clock at night, right? Which is good, I think, for me, right? It gives me a little more discipline, but I just need to get back on track with that, you know, putting the blue blockers on, not eating anything a couple of hours before, not drinking anything a couple of hours before so that I don't get up and pee 3 times a night, and taking, like, I like these 2 supplements. One is called glycine. Glycine is an amino acid that lowers your body temperature a little bit. So you take a couple of grams of that, and then magnesium glycinate. So I take those 2. I ran out of it here, and I have to go to the supplement shop. And supplements are very expensive here in Thailand, by the way. It's just, I don't know. I'm not in Thailand. We're in Pakistan. I don't know why they're so expensive, but I think it's duty or something.
It's a lot of duty that we have to pay over here.
So, you know, I got back and got a little sticker shock on 3 supplements that I bought. What, $300? Wow, it was crazy. But, you know, those are the routines you sort of have to get into. And I think, you know, it's a work in progress for me, as it's a work in progress for you.
Too,
Unfortunately, right now, I'm sort of, you know, hitting back on the sleeping pills and doing that kind of thing. But that's okay, as long as I get some rest, right?
So I wanted to kind of link up where we talked about, you know, diet. We talked about, you know, sarcopenia and the importance of, you know, strength training, and the importance of getting enough protein and sleep and recovery. And the link that I found as we were talking was how it affects mental health when you're not practicing these protocols.
Yeah, exactly.
And mental health has become a serious issue. Obviously, so much social media and people on the screen, and you know, seeing the world in a different trajectory when what reality really is. So, you know, I would suggest, because I do understand people who do suffer from issues along the lines, is that following the protocols that you mentioned, you know, the 4 pillars of longevity, is something that is going to actually manage your you know, anxiety, manage your feeling anxious,
which is all stress,
which is all stress related. Absolutely.
So
it kind of all links in together.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, especially after your workouts. For instance, like you here in the Longevity Center at Structured Gym right next door. No, this is Structured Gym's pool that we're at here. You know, there's a few protocols there. One is infrared sauna. I just find that relaxes me, makes me sweat out the toxins, and sort of de-stresses me at the same time, you know? And you also have red light, infrared light therapy. So no, it's red light therapy. So you also have red light therapy, which is good. It makes me feel good. At the same time, it sort of heals you on the cellular level. And it also, I find it de-stressing. I stand there for 10 minutes thinking about different things in my head while the red light is beaming on me. It de-stresses me. I don't know why, you know. It's like maybe it's the fear of jumping into the cold plunge after.
Well, it's also the regeneration, like they say.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And, you know, for stress, I sort of, I take ashwagandha also, which is
Okay,
another supplement that I take.
Right.
I find that works a little bit. I don't have a very stressful life. You know, I'm always on the road. Like I haven't been home to Montreal in the
As
last
you can
6
tell,
months.
Anthony's a very chill person, so you know, not very stressed, right?
Yeah. I'm trying not to stress myself. At my age, you never know. It might be a heart attack coming. So it's like I'll just try to not stress myself at all. I mean, lately things have been stressful just in my life in general, you know, because of, you know, other issues. But I generally try to keep a stress-free life. I just think at my age, I've done everything already in my life. I don't need to stress about stupid things at this thing. So I just cut them loose and let them go. You know? So I feel good about those protocols.
Good, yeah.
But at the same time, you were mentioning mental health. I mean, I'm not an expert in mental health, but I know it's a big issue as far as people go with social media, trying to keep up with the Joneses, looking at the bodies of you know, there's so many people, especially men and women, that have body dysmorphia. You know, they're always striving for something. They're on their cardio machines for 3 or 4 hours trying to achieve something that's impossible for them. You know, especially as you start getting into your 40s, it's you're just on a hamster wheel, just going around and around. And I know more than one person.
That's where, you know, that's where the mindset of staying present is so important. The power of now, because whatever you're seeing is a fantasy, not a reality. So having to switch off. That's why, you know, as you said, you know, before you go to sleep, switch off the phone for at least 90 minutes, 2 hours, because if you don't, in your dreams, the last thing that you have been seeing is actually going to come and revisit you.
That's going to be so hard for so many people,
exactly,
you know.
Well,
and then how do you stop them from doing that? You know,
Absolutely.
they have to be super well disciplined to do that. And I think people that have these body dysmorphia, you know, and they're stressing about it all the time. It's part of their life. They have to get back into shape, and they have to be this. They have to look like this. It's just, you know, drives them absolutely crazy. You know.
So I got to say, Anthony, like, I mean, when we were talking about biohacking, I was somebody who was very resistant to, you know, the cold plunge and the sauna and all that kind of stuff. And we have a mutual friend, bless her, Suzanne. And she bless her, right? So she kind of got me into, you know, doing the ice bath and the sauna. And I realized from this, because longevity was up until 2 years ago, longevity was a new concept for me. But I realized if you want to achieve, or if you want to better yourself in any capacity, you have to be prepared to do hard things. If you do the hard things today, it's only going to get easier as you go. But you have to have that mindset. You got to be prepared for it. And that's where I see longevity. That's where I see growth. That's where I see development. It's not just physical, it's also internal as well, and mental.
I think it's discipline also. You know, it teaches you discipline. Right. I think every man, every woman in this world needs some discipline at this point in time. I mean, again, back to social media, that's what screwed everything up here. It's like, you know, especially young people these days, our generation, not so much. We've sort of already, you know, established our path, and, you know, we're already towards the later years of our life. We know where we've been and we know where we're going. We still have goals, right? But kids these days, you just see them and it's like they're totally lost in this whole world because of this social media thing. And I think that, you know, other people in their 40s and 50s are sort of getting into that mindset too. They think that, for instance, you know, I just turned 50. It's like, it's too late for me. You know, and we have to understand that it's never, ever too late. You can start your strength training. You can start your sleep protocols, your stress protocols. You can start your nutrition, getting back on track with your nutrition from day one. You know, let's say you're 60 years old. You can start today, and then 2 years from now, you're going to have the best body you've ever had in your entire life. All it needs is some discipline and some desire. You know, and consistency, you know, that's the other key, is consistency. And, you know, it's not as hard as people think it is. You just have to be a little disciplined, and actually good for you. And once you start your routines, then you enjoy them. Once you start enjoying your routines, I mean, I started my whole path back into fitness, I mean, at 60 years old, I went and did a contest basically, only because I had a goal. I'm very goal driven, very goal oriented. I need something that I can focus on to move myself forward. You know, me, it was happening to do a men's physique competition, you know, and I was already 60 years old. You know, I decided I never even thought of doing that when I was younger, right?
That's how you kind of inspired me to
get into it yourself, you know, because I just found that, you know, once you have a goal like that, then you're driven to succeed in that goal. And why not, right? There's no reason why you can't. And I happened to come in third, second, and second. And then in Phuket last year, I was 65 years old and I joined the Beachbody competition. I was the oldest by far. I mean, I could have fathered every single person that was there, you know, because the guy that won was 25. I came in third of everybody, you know, so that was crazy, you know, and that's Beachbody. That's not bodybuilding, that's a Beachbody. So, you know, I was kind of proud of that at the same time, but, you know.
Just to add to that, that's why when we were training together in Thailand, I was so inspired by you as well, like practicing longevity, living it. I mean, not that I wasn't myself, but, you know, to see somebody, you know, older than me, in great shape, got the motivation and kind of, you know, being able to teach me new tools and how I should be training, right? Which is a game changer in many ways, right?
Yeah, well, I'm glad I inspired you. I mean, you know, that's the whole point of what I'm doing. I think it's trying to pass on my knowledge to other people who are willing to accept, take in the knowledge at the same time, you know. It's been a journey for me. It really has. It's been the last 30 years of really applying myself to this whole craft that I'm into. And, you know, I mean, we used to do some wacko stuff, just, you know, training movie stars and a lot of pro athletes. And you get to know mindsets of, you know, people like pro athletes, for instance, just on a different level. You know, they're so driven. But I guess, you know, when you're paid a couple $1 million a year, you would be driven more in that direction. But you're making good money at the same time. You're developing a rapport with these pro players and movie stars and actors and things like that. I mean, it's just on a different level, and you see that different level, and it's all mindset. All those people, they're very, very disciplined. You know, anybody who's a pro player, doesn't matter what sport it is, you're very disciplined. You have your night routine, you have your morning routine, you have your nutrition nailed down, you have your strength nailed down.
I found I went to boarding school, and religiously, what we had to do, we had to make our bed in the morning before we went to school. And that was a habit that I have until today. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I have to make my bed. So that when I come back to my room after going to the toilet or whatever, my bed, it's
You've accomplished a task.
I feel I've done a task. And that feeling is like, okay, I've started the day now. You know, and I have that habit, and I see many people don't. You know,
that's very army oriented, by the way. That's what they do in the army.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you don't, but for me, having some kind of regiment, knowing that, okay, my day is going to begin with these certain tasks. Task number one, done, and that discipline kind of. I find it also resonates in, you know, in fitness, for example, it resonates in your work ethic too.
Exactly.
You're showing discipline in your diet. You're showing discipline. You're coming in even the days that you don't want to come in or you're not motivated. But it's the same thing with work as well. You don't feel like working every day, but you know you got to, you know, plow.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. You got to do what's got to be done. No excuses, no sympathies. You know, you got to perform.
Exactly.
You know, and you got to perform regardless. So, you know, what you do in your daily habits resonates even in your structure, basically, as you.
100%. You know, I agree with that. That's one of the things in life. You know, and that's what they teach you in the army. Essentially, make your bed first. You know, you've accomplished something during the day. If it's nothing else, you've accomplished that and you've done it right. You know, pat on the back.
I read on social media the people who make their bed first in the morning have a better chance of becoming a millionaire.
Okay.
So when I read that, I was like, I'm
making my bed. Yeah, exactly. Why not? No, that's a good one. It really is, because it's discipline again, right? You know, I mean, people who make a lot of money are usually people who are driven, have discipline, right? And you know, you just take it to the next level. Too, and it's a mindset. It's all synergistic together, you know, and it's just poof, away you go. Okay, so, you know, we can go back to the 4 pillars again. So what are the 4 pillars? My 4 longevity pillars. I think it should be in everybody's pillars. Number 1 is going to be strength. Okay, that's going to be an 80%er. All right, strength and conditioning, pushing some weights and putting on some muscle. That's number one. Number two is going to be nutrition. We talked about protein being non-negotiable. Okay, I mean the other things are negotiable. We just have to change the ratios. But number one thing is getting enough protein. Number three was sleep. Getting your 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Right. I think it's so important to at least try to achieve that level and try to manage everything to get to that level. I think it's very important.
Underrated, I have to say.
It's very underrated, and for guys our age and for women who are peri and postmenopausal, it's such an important part, and we need to get that under control. And we both are working on that. So that's a work in progress for I think most of humanity. And the last one is going to be stress management, which is a big one because it also encompasses mental health at the same time. You know, we must say that, you know, men's mental health has been sort of understated, you know, because we're supposed to be big and tough and, you know, we're not supposed to cry and things like that. So it's a big one. It's a big one out there. You know, and women too who are going through peri and postmenopause, it's a big issue. So that just needs more discussion on each one of those topics, and maybe we can break this down in some other podcasts that we do and look at every one of those protocols in minute detail and take it from there.
So I'm going to ask, and Auntie's going to be asking me a couple of questions in our rapid fire ending
Segment, okay?
So Anthony, what's one supplement you think is a non-negotiable you got to take?
Protein powder.
Okay.
Isolate.
Protein powder isolate? Because you need the muscle mass or the...
No, because I need the protein, It just helps you get your protein in during the day. That's one supplement, All right, Faisal, walk 10,000 steps or a 45-minute gym session. Go.
45-minute gym session.
Okay, of course you'd pick that one. All right, ask me.
What's one thing that you think is 100% for longevity?
Strength training.
Okay.
100%. There's no other question. There's no other answer to that. If you have another answer for that, you're full of shit. All right. So one simple habit that improves energy instantly.
Sleep. I think sleep. Recovery and sleep is really important.
Yeah, that is a good habit to have. All right. So fat loss or muscle gain, priority for long-term health?
Muscle gain.
There you go. That's my man.
Funny
there you go. All right, go ahead.
One food you would remove forever from your diet?
From my diet? Oh my God, that's a hard one. I love food so much.
I know it's not going to be curry because you love your curries, right?
Oh, I love my curries, one food I remove forever. You know, there's no food that I remove forever. You know, it's like, I love pasta. I love...
Can I answer that question on your behalf?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chinese, right?
Chinese. No, but you know, the Chinese that they have in North America. No, maybe Thai food. Thai
food, right.
Yeah, because they put so much sugar and MSG in it. I'd eliminate that. Even when I'm in Thailand, I don't even eat that. So,
I'm the same, right?
Exactly. You know, 2 tablespoons of table sugar and MSG on every one. So, you know, you get the sweats afterwards. All right. Mobility or strength, what keeps you younger longer?
I think that's goes hand in hand, but I think personally strength.
Yeah, if you had to pick one, I agree 100%.
Supplements or whole foods?
Definitely whole foods. 100%. You know, I mean, supplement is that word, supplement. You're supposed to be supplementing your diet with it. There's only you don't take supplements if you don't need to supplement your diet. It's right in the word itself.
So I wanted to add what Anthony says there because I did a short video on this. I believe that the pharmaceutical and the vitamin supplement market is a big hoax.
Of course.
If you can get everything in your diet, and as you said, if you do your blood work regularly, where you have any kind of deficiency, that's when you take supplements. But you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. So that's what it is.
All right, let me ask you sort of
make it an easy one, please.
All right. One mindset shift for living better, not just longer.
Practice abundance, practice gratefulness. You stay present, you change your mindset, you practice enjoying on a day-to-day basis. Don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. That's your best place you're going to be happy.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. All right. So closing question to both of us. If somebody wants to feel 20 years younger in the next 12 months, what's the first thing they should change?
Their daily habits.
Daily habits, exactly. And I think if they want to feel at least 20 years younger the next 12 months, you have to, number one, start strength training. You have to get your diet under control. You have to get your sleeping under control, and you have to get your stress under control.
Basically practicing the 4 pillars of longevity.
Yeah, the
and
4
medicine,
pillars right there. It's an easy one. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's
We'll
it
wrap it
for
up
us
here,
today.
yeah.
That's it. That was a good little podcast. I enjoyed that.